Hello, fellow compatriots. This is your host, Tripson here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Tayna, possibly the first Bionicle to ever exist in G3, and also maybe the oldest. But before we even go into this figure, let's first talk about the origins of Tayna. Tayna originally came from the Space Warriors theme, which was a Lego's idea that was pitched in January 17th of 2018, where there would be a main protagonist named Tayna, who coincidentally is a Martian that had to leave her home planet after a great exodus and now must travel across the cosmos to face the forces of evil. And of course, in typical Tributron fashion, they also had a gear function where by twisting the gearbox on her back, she can either use the grapple via puppeteering. So by swinging the arms, you can actually puppeteer her to use many of the items that she comes with, like the traditional swords, to even firing the bazooka, or rocket launcher if you will. However, this idea's pitch didn't last very long, as it barely even got close to 100 supporters. However, it didn't take very long for this character to be rewritten and expanded into my own fanon for the Bionicle universe. However, a fun little trivia fact is that Tayna in particular, I didn't know what to name her originally, because I couldn't use a Bionicle name, and of course I couldn't stick with your traditional like Hero Factory name, so I needed a good in between, and I decided to pull her name from Taino culture, because I am Taino Indian, also Puerto Rican. Tayna in particular is a warrior, a known warrior in Taino culture. And I thought that name would be fitting for such a character. And it would be later expanded on in the Bionicle universe, where Tayna in particular would have very bat-like designs, because there are bats to be quite prominent in Puerto Rico. There are bats everywhere. That I can assure you. You will find bats in Puerto Rico. And I thought, she already had the wings anyways, so let's go ahead and fully lean into the bat-like aesthetic. This version of Tayna in particular features black as a primary with a generous amount of purple for any Bionicle fan connoisseur out there. Not only that, but she has a trans neon orange throughout her entire body, as if she is a living ember of flames contained within the shadowy visage that is her body. Truly a great way to go ahead and symbolize a being of two elements, because let's be honest, when the Toa and Nika first came out, their color schemes were very hype. I really like the lightning aesthetic and so forth, and I feel like this render of this particular character comes in full strides with how it is able to go ahead and capture the colors, in my biased opinion, of course. Though you may have noticed she has some hair. Now, the Taino women were known to have long black hair, but in this instance, it is the flaming orange, the flame neon orange, which is not accurate at all, but this is a biomechanical being that also can sometimes turn into a dragon, which is why you may also see the tail. But of course, before I get into any further, let's first talk about articulation and functions, which she has none, but I digress. Tayna has articulated talents, so they can have multiple ranges of movement. She can even potentially grab opponents with her claws. Ankles have excellent form of range. Knees bend, do like a 90-degree bend, which is pretty not the best, but considering how organic this build is, it has to for the aesthetic for AD. Her legs can go forward this far, go back this far. She can do the full Van Dan, even if she can't do a full Monty. Arms on a ball joint, as you would expect. Elbows, they can do a full curl, so, which is pretty nice that they can do a full curl. Ball joint at the wrist, a ball joint at the head, and her wings are fully posable. Followed with the tail. The tail is just ball joint, 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 wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And you may have noticed as well that she has waist articulation. However, you may have noticed there, especially if you've been in this channel long enough, she has had so many revamps that I have lost count. More than any other mocks that I have made before. And there's a good reason why, because I genuinely like this character. Just as much as my own OC. If not more now. And I'll get into my reasons why. Because around 2020, a few years later, after 2018, and after all the revamps that I have done of this character in particular, Tayna was not in the cards in the development of Ascending Depths, because at the time, Lego was getting expensive, making Bionicle mocks was getting expensive, so I came up with an idea. What if, instead of buying pieces, what if I made my own pieces? And that made an entire road all the way into a little project that I call Ascending Depths, where the new building system will be created, known as TRIBS, the Tailored Reconstructible Intuitive Building System. But why do I bring this up? That is because throughout its development, a few people were first introduced to Huzu, and everybody thought that was the first character. But really, it was not the first character, it was this guy, UH1. He was the first character that I did concept art for. He was one of the first. He started off as a grainy pixel art, and I couldn't think of any other character, so I kept drawing him. And then, but because Huzu was supposed to be the main protagonist, he was the most advertised all across social media. But if we're going to be talking about the oldest to ever exist, even before Untitled Hero 1, it would have to be Tayna. Now, why do I bring this up? Because Ascending Depths, like Bionicle, is based off of real-world culture. But unlike Bionicle, where there was a lot of cultural appropriation, Ascending Depths focuses heavily on Taino Indian way of life. Now, sadly, we are still trying to recover things from our history so long ago that we have lost, mainly due to outside influences. But I really wanted to go ahead and dive into this culture, especially for Ascending Depths, and because there is influence of that culture very prominently throughout AD, sprinkled about, what better way than to have Tayna also be incorporated into the narrative. So Tayna now exists as a character in Ascending Depths. Originally supposed to be a Toa of fire and shadow, this new character, this rewrite, if you will, also exists in AD. Now, I cannot specify in what role she would play, but I will tell you this, that this character is going to be possibly the most funnest character. That is not a word, but I made it a word just now, so bite me. So yeah, I am very excited for this character, for you guys to all see it. I think this is one of my best work yet, and it doesn't even have a function. Technically it does with the wings. If you look at the wings, like that's kind of a function. It's kind of cool, you know, this adult version of Tayna, a fully grown version instead of like the young teenage gal of a character that she first debuted as in Space Warriors. This is a much more mature version of this character. She has seen a great deal of events throughout her life and has a deep, rich history with the Islanders of Ascending Depths on the planet Lolito. But anyways, that is all for now. If you like this video, why not give it a like? And if you want to see more content just like this, why not subscribe? But I believe that is all for now, so I will see you all in the next video. Also, please check out ascendingdepths.etsy.com. I make all sorts of stuff. I'm making brains. I'm going to be making more brains soon as well, so be sure to go to ascendingdepths.etsy.com for availability, because I'm going to be making sets. Yes, I'm going to be making sets. It's coming. It's actually coming this time. They're all coming. But yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.